Now we have graphs of functions slash graphing linear equations. So with this one, the first problem is a bunch of definitions. I'm not actually going to write these out for you, but I will talk through each of them. So the x-intercept, of course, is where it hits the x-axis. The y-intercept is where it hits the y-axis. A zero of a function is the same thing as an x-intercept. So 0 and x-intercept are the same. Rate of change, of course, is our slope, which is rise over run, change in y over change in x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's all of our slope stuff. Independent variable is our x values. Dependent variable is the y's. And domain is all of the x values that a function hits. Range is all of the y values that a function hits. So we're actually going to go into domain and range right now. So these two problems want you to write the domain and range of these graphs. So with 21, notice this is a discrete function. So with discrete functions, what we have to do is just list all of the x values it hits for domain. So here my domain is going to be x equals, and we're just going to make a list. So if we look right here and draw a line up, this first x value is a -4. So with domain, we go left to right. Now this one right here is at -2. So my next one on my list is -2. This one right here is 0. It helps to draw the lines down so you can see what x value it hits. The next one is 4. And this last one, if you draw the line down, is 6. So -4, -2, 0, 4, 6 is our domain. Now for the range, instead of doing our x's, we're going to do the same thing with our y values. So I'll start bottom to top for range. So this first point down here hits the y-axis at -1. The second one is at 0. This one right here is at +1. This one right here, +3. And right here, +4. So that is our domain and range for a discrete function. It'll be written like this. Now when we have an actual continuous graph, it'll be a little bit different. So we're going to still go left to right. So I'll find my furthest left point, which is right here. And if we draw our line up, we can see that that x value is -4. So our furthest left x value is -4. That's where our domain is going to start. Next step, we have to find the furthest right x value, which is way over here. So if you draw the line up, it's a +5. So I'm going to leave some space because we have to write some stuff in the middle here. But we need our furthest left, then our furthest right. Now we know that domain is our x value, so I'm going to write an x in the middle. Now you're always going to draw inequalities that are facing this way. So they're going like that every time if you go left to right. If you don't go left to right, you can't use this trick. Now notice right here, we have open circles. So before we learn that open circles means that we have these inequalities without the equal to line underneath it. So if it's an open circle, we leave them without the line. Now for range, we're basically going to do the same thing, except we're going to go from bottom to top. So down here, my lowest y value is at -3. Then my highest y value is up here. So it doesn't have to be a point like these two were. So this right here is our highest y value, which is a +3. Now range is y, so we put a y in the middle. The signs are still facing this direction. So now we just need to figure out, do we need the equal to line underneath the inequality or not? So down here, this one is an open circle, and there is no point at -3. So this one will stay without the line. But if we look up here, there's no open circle at 3, which means that we could put a point right here, a closed point right there, and we would have a point at 3. So this one needs to be closed. So that is our domain and range. Discrete should be written as a list. Continuous you write with inequalities. Next up we have some word problems. So 23 says Danny has a business selling bracelets for $7.50 each. She only has enough material to make 5 bracelets. If X represents the number of bracelets sold and Y represents the total cost, what is the range for this situation? So we learned that range was our Y value. So we are focusing on Y's, which is the total cost is what we want to write. So she only has enough to make 5 bracelets. So let's go ahead and figure out what our domain could be. In this case, we actually have to figure out what domain is so we can figure out what the range would be. So this one would be discrete because she can't sell half of a bracelet. If you can't do half of your X value, it's going to be discrete. So she could sell 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 bracelets. She can't sell more than that because she doesn't have enough material. But here we wanted our Y values. So we want to know the cost that she could have. So again, this is going to be discrete. So it's Y equals, we're going to make a list. If she sells 0 bracelets, she makes $0. If it's 1 bracelet, each bracelet costs $7.50. So for 1 bracelet, we would have $7.50. 2 bracelets, we would do $7.50 times 2, which is 15. Then we just keep going. So we look at 3 bracelets, so that would just be 3 times 7.5, which would be 22.5. Then for 4 bracelets, we do 4 times 7.5, which gives us 30. And last, we have 5 bracelets, so 7.5 times 5 is 37.5. So this right here is our answer because they were asking us for the range. We just had to find the domain to help us get the range. Now 24 is going to be similar. So it says John is selling cookies at a bake sale for $2.50 each. He only has enough ingredients to bake 10 cookies. If X represents the number of cookies sold and Y represents the total cost, what is the range for this situation? So again, we need Y, just the total cost. That's going to be the range. We still have to figure out our domain though, so we can figure out what the range would be. So $2.50 each. And he can sell up to 10 cookies. So we could be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 cookies. Any of that. And then we're going to use this to find our range. So it's going to be Y equals. He sells 0 cookies, $0. 1 cookie, they're each $2.50. So 1 cookie is $2.50. 2 cookies, it's 2.5 times 2 would be 5. Then we can just keep adding 250. So then we would have 750. So that's 3 cookies. Then 10, that's 4. 12.5 is 5. 15 is 6. 17.5 is 7. 20 is 8. 22.5 is 9. And 25 would be 10. So this right here would be the range for this situation. And that is domain and range.